Greetings ladies and gents, welcome back to the Craft Hammer. I'm your host Stefan, and in this episode we're going to be talking about starting the hobby itself. 10th edition has just launched for Warhammer 40,000, and generally the beginning of a new edition is always a great time to jump in. So I thought to myself, if you're on the sidelines right now, what would be the best way to jump into the hobby itself? Now, there's a bunch of different ways that we can approach this. We can be discussing the lore itself of the universe, maybe how to build models, or how to kitbash them together. Then naturally this would lead into painting them and the various styles that are available. And of course, in relation to the gaming side, there's a variety of different battle reports that are available to give you the feel of each army. Now, considering that you are watching this on YouTube, one would assume that having so much free access to all of this content would be a great starting point for new beginners. This is where I would go contrary to this belief and state otherwise. There is a lot of noise, so much different information coming from every video you can find. It has a great wealth of information, tips, and entertainment for the hobby. But too often, what I've seen happen is that people fall down the rabbit hole and they keep on watching videos, but they never actually take the leap and go into the hobby itself. No, I wouldn't consider endlessly watching videos as actually participating in the hobby itself. Now, YouTube can be helpful when it comes to choosing your first model and how to prep it, but we've already passed the point of you deciding whether or not the hobby is right for you. This is the points that we're going to be discussing within this video. Now, you can of course go into a Warhammer store and get an intro session, but generally in these circumstances they also try to get you to buy some items which might not be appealing straight away. But there is one thing in the store that I think will help you decide whether it is the right hobby for you. And that, of course, is the White Dwarf magazine. I know it's an odd choice to put as what I think that a beginner should look at, and no, I'm not a Warhammer employee, but I do think that it will help with your decision making. It is a snapshot within the hobby and provides a great feel of the atmosphere of what it's like to be within. To this day, I still remember the day that my mother brought me into the Warhammer store, and obviously I got an intro session on painting some models and shown what the game is about, but I remember getting the White Dwarf magazine as I was leaving, and over the next month and a half I read each article multiple times. It gave me a feel for the hobby as a whole. It made me excited when I looked at the different models that were on display in the pictures. It's a great snapshot within the hobby and a perfect litmus test to determine whether the hobby is a right fit for you. There's a lot of different ways to start the hobby. Lore-wise, people will argue endlessly which books you need to read first and what timeline that should be followed. Sometimes it's just better to jump in the middle and take a look around. You won't be able to recognize and understand everything that's in the magazine, but to be honest, that's kind of the point. If you can just jump into an article without much context and assess it based on what it's putting down standalone, it would be a far better indicator whether the atmosphere of the particular hobby is an interest to you. If a small thing within the magazine piques your interest, it's better to pull on that string than having gone through hours and hours upon listening to videos or reading books and then finding out that that aspect of the hobby isn't actually for you. I know it's a bit strange and probably not the consensus to recommend the White Dwarf magazine, but I think it's the perfect place to start without having to invest in multiple models or falling down the rabbit hole of YouTube and never being able to actually participate within the hobby. If you're new to the hobby and need a bit more information or want to chat about it, you can put down some comments down below and I'll try to reply them. Or if you want, you can go over to my Instagram and you should be able to reach me there if you need more information. For those who are already in the hobby, let me know your thoughts down below. If you were to go back, how would you start the hobby over again? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care, folks.